Shabbat Shalom. Today is December 27th, or the 7th of Tevet. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently today. Today we're reading the story of Joseph. And it holds a different significance for me. As many of you know, I was raised in a very abusive household. Dealt with a lot of ugly and always felt like the victim. But the story of Joseph kind of helps me understand that everything that I went through, all of the struggles that I had, weren't to make me a victim. They were at Yah's hand to make me strong and to help me help others walk through the same struggles. And it really helps me to create a new mindset of what it looks like to be in the midst of a situation. You know, we might see it for its harshness, for all the things, for the humiliation that it brings, but none of that's important. And the longer I walk this walk, the more I'm realizing that it doesn't matter if someone laughs at me because I pronounce a word wrong, or if they think less of me for something I say or something I do. As long as I'm standing on Yah's word, as long as I am doing what He has asked me to do, it doesn't matter. Absolutely nothing that anybody says matters. And I'm not saying I don't struggle with it. Oh my God, do I struggle with it? I struggle with it every day. But I'm moving forward. I am refusing to see it as a negative. And I'm actually going to be going to some people today to hold me accountable to that as well. So that if I start acting that way or talking that way, they will hold my feet to the fire. Because that's not who I want to be. Because that's not how Yah created me to be. And so with that, we are going to be reading the entire story of Joseph today. The portion is called Vayigash, or He Drew Near. It's going to be starting in Genesis chapter 44, verse 18, which is on page 50 of the scriptures. And we're going to be reading through 47, verse 27. And then we'll go to Ezekiel 37, verse 15 to 28. And Acts chapter 3, verses 13 through 26. So, starting on page 40, verse 18. Nope, we're going to back up. It's on page 49, not 50. And Yehuda came near to him and said, "O my master, please let your servant speak a word to my master's hearing, and do not let your displeasure burn against your servant, for you are like Pharaoh. My master asked his servants, saying, have you a father or a brother? And we said to my master, we have a father, an old man, and a young child of his old age, and his brother is dead. And he alone is left of his mother's children, and his father loves him. And you said to your servant, bring him down to me, and let me set my eyes on him. And we said to my master, the boy is not able to leave his father, for if he leaves his father will surely die. But you said to your servants, unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you do not see my face again. And it came to be, when we went up to your servant, my father, that we told him the words of my master. And our father said, go back and buy us a little food. But we said, we are not able to go down if our youngest brother is not with us. Then we shall go down, for we are not able to see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant, my father, said to us, you know that my wife bore me 2 sons, and the one went out from me, and I said, truly he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. And if you take this one from me too, and harm comes to him, you shall bring down my gray hair with evil to Sheol. And now, if I come to your servant, my father, and the boy is not with us, since his own life is bound up in his life, then it shall be, when he sees that the boy is not with us, that he shall die. So your servant shall bring down the gray hair of your servant, our father, with evil to Sheol. For your servant went guarantee for the boy to my father, saying, if I do not bring him back to you, then I shall be a sinner before my father forever. And now, please let your servant remain instead of the boy as a slave to my master, and let the boy go up with his brothers. For how do I go up to my father if the boy is not with me, lest I see the evil that would come upon my father? And Joseph was unable to restrain himself before all those who stood by him, and he called out, have everyone go out from me. So no one stood with him, while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Mitzrites of the house of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers were unable to answer him, for they trembled before him. Then Joseph said to his brothers, please come near to me. And when they came near, he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold unto Mitzrayim. And now do not be grieved nor displeased with yourselves because you sold me here. For Elohim sent me before you to preserve life. For 2 years now, the scarcity of food has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there is neither plowing nor harvesting. And Elohim sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant in the earth, and to give life to you by a great escape. So then, you did not send me here, but Elohim, and he has set me for a father to Pharaoh, and master of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. Hurry up and go up to my father and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, Elohim has made me master of all Mitzrayim. Come down to me and do not delay. And you shall dwell in the land of Goshen and be near to me, you and your children and your children's children, your flocks and your herds and all that you have. And I shall provide for you there, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, because 5 years of scarcity of food are still to come. And look, your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, see, that is my mouth that speaks to you. And you shall inform my father of all my esteem in Mitzrayim, and of all that you have seen. And you shall hurry and bring my father down here. And he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. And Benjamin wept on his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that his brothers spoke with him. And the report of it was heard by the house of Pharaoh, saying, the brothers of Joseph have come. And it was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers, do this, lord your beasts, and go, enter the land of Canaan, and take your father and your household, and come to me. And I give you the best of the land of Mitzrayim, and you eat the fat of the land. And you have been commanded, do this, take wagons out of the land of Mitzrayim for your little ones and your wives, and you shall bring your father and come. And do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all the land of Mitzrayim is yours. And the sons of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the mouth of Pharaoh, and he gave them food for their journey. And he gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father this, 10 donkeys loaded with the best of Mitzrayim, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they left. And he said to them, do not quarrel along the way. And they went up out of Mitzrayim and came to the land of Canaan, to Yaakov, their father. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Jacob's heart ceased, and he did not believe them. But when they spoke to him all the words which Joseph had spoken to them, and when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to transport him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. And Israel said, enough! My son Joseph is still alive. Let me go and see him before I die. And Israel sent out and all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and slaughtered slaughterings to the Elohim of his father Yitzhak. And Elohim spoke to Israel in a vision of the night, and said, Yaakov, Yaakov. And he said, here I am. And he said, I am the Elohim of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Mitzrayim, for I shall make you there a great nation. I myself am going down with you to Mitzrayim, and I myself shall certainly bring you up again, and let Joseph put his hand on your eyes. And Yaakov rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel brought their father Yaakov and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to transport him. And they took their livestock and their property which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and came to Mitzrayim. Yaakov and all his seed with him, his sons and his sons' sons, his daughters and his daughters' and his sons' daughters, and all his seed he brought with him to Mitzrayim. And these were the names of the children of Israel, Yaakov and his sons who came into Mitzrayim. Reuben was Yaakov's firstborn. And the sons of Reuben, Hanoch and Palu and Hitzron and Kermi. And the sons of Shimon, Yemuel and Yamin and Ohad and Yakin and Sohar and Shaul, son of a Canaanite woman. And the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kehath, and Merari. And the sons of Yehuda, and Onan, and Shelah, and Peretz, and Zerah, But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Peret were Hetzron and Hamul. And the sons of Issachar, Tola, and Puah, and Yab, and Shimron. And the sons of Zebulun, Sered, Elon, and Yaleel. And these are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Yaakov in Padan Aram, with his daughter Dinah. And all the beings, his sons and his daughters, were 33. And the sons of Gad, Zephoniah, and Haggai, Shunai, and Itzban, Eri, and Aradai, and Ariel. And the sons of Asher, Yimnah, and Yeshua, and Yeshui, and Beriah, and Sarah, their sister. And the sons of Beriah, Heber, and Malchiel. These were the sons of Zilpah, who Laban gave to Leah, his daughter. And these she bore to Yaakov, 16 beings. And the son of Rahel, Yaakov's wife, Joseph and Benjamin. And to Joseph in the land of Mitzrayim were born Manasseh and Ephraim, who Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore to him. And the sons of Benjamin, Bela and Bekir, and Ashbal, and Gerah, and Naaman, Ehi and Rosh, Mupim and Hupim, and Ard. These were the sons of Rahel, who were born to Yaakov, 14 beings in all. Excuse me. Quiet. That will only last a minute. And the sons of Dan, Hushim. And the sons of Naphtali, Yetziel, and Guni, and Yetzer, and Shilem. These were the sons of Bilhah, who Laban gave to Rahel, his daughter. And she bore these to Yaakov, 7 beings in all. All the beings who went with Yaakov to Mitzrayim, who came from this body besides Yaakov's son, wives, were 66 beings in all. And the sons of Joseph, who were born to him in Mitzrayim, were 2 beings. All the beings of the house of Yaakov, who went to Mitzrayim, were 70. And he sent Yehudah before him to Joseph, to point out before him the way to Goshen. And they came to the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. And he appeared to him and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a long time. And Israel said to Joseph, "Now let me die, since I have seen your face, that you are still alive." And Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, "I am going up to inform Pharaoh and say to him, my brothers and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me. And the men are shepherds, and they have been men of livestock, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it shall be when Pharaoh calls you and says, 'What is your occupation?' that you shall say, 'Your servants have been men of livestock from our youth, even till now, both we and also our fathers, so that we dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Mitzrites.' And Joseph went and spoke to Pharaoh and said, 'My father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds, and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan, and see, they are in the land of Goshen.' And he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his brothers, 'What is your occupation?' And they said to Pharaoh, 'Our servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers.' And they said to Pharaoh, we have come to dwell in the land, because there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the scarcity of food is severe in the land of Canaan. And now, please let your servants sojourn in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Mitzrayim is before you. Settle your father and brothers in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know of capable men among them, then make them chief herdsmen over my livestock. And Joseph brought in his father Yaakov and set him before Pharaoh. And Yaakov blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Yaakov, how old are you? And Yaakov said to Pharaoh, the days of my years of my sojourning are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of my life, the years of my life, and they have not reached the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their sojourning. And Yaakov blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. So he settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Mitzrayim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph provided his father and his brothers and all of his father's households with bread for the mouth of the little ones. Now there was no bread in all the land, because the scarcity of food was very severe, and the land of Mitzrayim and all the land of Canaan became exhausted from the scarcity of food. And Joseph gathered up all the silver that was found in the land of Mitzrayim and all the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought. And Joseph brought the silver into Pharaoh's house. And when the silver was all spent in the land of Mitzrayim and all the land of Canaan, all the Mitzrites came to Joseph and said, give us bread. Why should we die in your presence? For the silver is gone. And Joseph said, give me your livestock, and I give you bread for your livestock, if the silver is gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses and for the flocks they owned, and for the herds they owned, and for the donkeys. Thus he fed them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. And when that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, we do not hide from my master that our silver is all spent, and the master also has the livestock we owned. There has not been left any before my master's, but our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and let us and our land be servants of Pharaoh. And give us seed, and let us live and not die, and let the land not lie waste. And Joseph bought the entire land of Mitzrayim for Pharaoh, because every man of the Mitzrites sold his field, because the scarcity of food was severe upon them, and the land came to be Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he moved them into the cities, from one end of the borders of Mitzrayim to the other. Only the ground of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had from what Pharaoh gave them by law, and they ate that which Pharaoh gave them by law. Therefore they did not sell their ground. And Joseph said to the people, look, I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall be that in the harvest you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh, and 4/5 is your own, as seed for the field and for food, for those of your household, and as food for your little ones. And they said, you have saved our lives. Let us find favor in your eyes, in the eyes of our master, and we shall become Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Mitzrayim to this day, that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the ground of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim, in the land of Goshen. And they had possessions there, and were fruitful, and increased exceedingly. Now we're going to move to Ezekiel chapter 37. This is on page 568. And if you'll bear with me just one moment, I'm going to go deal with Zelig. No, I said quiet. Come. I do apologize. The squirrels are running rampant, and Zelig is fighting off the evil hordes that are trying to attack the house. Okay, now that you're on page 568, we're going to be reading from Ezekiel 37, verses 15 to the end of the chapter, verse 28. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, And you, son of man, take a stick for yourself and write on it, for Yehudah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. Then bring them together for yourself into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand. And when the children of your people speak to you, saying, Won't you show us what you mean by these? Say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, I am taking the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his companions, and I shall give them unto him with the stick of Yehudah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. And the sticks on which you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. And speak to them, thus says the Master Yeshua. See, I am taking the children of Israel from among the nations where they have gone, and shall gather them from all around, and shall bring them into their land. And I shall make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel, and one sovereign shall be sovereign over them all. And let them no longer be two nations, and let them no longer be divided into two reigns. And they shall no longer defile themselves with their idols, nor with their disgusting matters, nor with any of their transgressions. And I shall save them from all their dwelling places in which they have sinned, and I shall cleanse them. And they shall be my people, and I be their Elohim, while David, my servant, is sovereign over them. And they shall all have one shepherd, and walk in my right rulings, and guard my laws, and shall do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Jacob, my servant, where your fathers dwelt. And they shall dwell in it, they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David be their prince forever. And I shall make a covenant of peace with them, an everlasting covenant. It is with them. And I shall place them and increase them, and I shall place my set-apart place in their midst forever. And my dwelling place shall be over them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the nations shall know that I, Yahweh, am setting Israel apart, when my set-apart place is in their midst forever. Now we're going to be going to Acts chapter 3, starting in verse 13. That's page 1054 in the scriptures. The Elohim of Abraham and of Isaac and of Yaakov, the Elohim of our fathers, esteemed his servant Yeshua, whom you delivered up and denied in the presence of Pilate when he had decided to release him. But you denied the set apart and righteous one, and asked for a man, a murderer, be granted you. But you killed the Prince of Life, whom Elohim raised from the dead, of which you are a witness. And by the belief in his name, this one whom you see and know, his name made strong in the belief which comes through him, has given him this perfect healing before all of you. And now, brothers, I know that you did it in ignorance, as your rulers did too. But this is how Elohim has filled what he had announced beforehand through the mouth of all the prophets, that his Messiah was to suffer. Repent, therefore, and turn back for the blotting out of your sins, in order that times of refreshing might come from the presence of the Master, and that he sends Yeshua Messiah, pre-appointed for you, whom heaven needs to receive until the times of restoration of all matters, of which Elohim spoke through the mouths of all his set-apart prophets since of old. For Moshe truly said to the fathers, Yahweh your Elohim shall rise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. Him you shall hear according to all matters, whatever he says to you. And it shall be that every being who does not hear that prophet shall be utterly destroyed from among the people. And likewise, all the prophets who have spoken, from Shamuel and those following, have also announced these days. You are sons of the prophets and of the covenant which Elohim made with our fathers, saying to Abraham, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. To you first, Elohim, having raised up his servant Yeshua, sent him to bless you, in turning away each one of you from your wicked ways. Have a blessed Shabbat.